Good morning everyone. I am Idris Dinchong, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. So my report is all about word formation rule. So what is the word formation? Word formation is a rule grammar by which morphologically complex words are formed out of free and or bound morphemes. Word formation rules are necessary in juries which assume that the lexicon only a set of derived words and the complex words are derived from these listed forms. So let's us tackle what is word. Word is a meaningful unit of a language. Sounds, a meaningful sound or a combination of sounds that is a unit of a language or it is represented in a text. Root word. Root word is a base or original word. It can be added with either prefixes or suffixes to create other words. For example, the root word is bene. You're gonna add fit is equals to benefit. Bene plus volent is equals to benevolent and beneficial, benediction, and so on. Each prefix and suffix has a meaning of its own. So by adding one or on the other or both root words, you form a new word. For example, the word sin is a root word. The word cron is a root word and the IC is a root word. You're gonna add all three of those and then you're gonna come up with the word synchronous. So here are some examples of root words. Vis or vid, the definition is see. And then you're gonna find it in television, revise, envision, visible. The word vac, meaning is empty. You can find it in words vacant, vacuum, evacuate, vacant. Tele or far of distance, you can find it in telephone, telegraph, telegram, television, and so many examples. Clippings, the portion of the word at the beginning, at the end, or cutting both ends of the word and retaining part of the original stands for its meaning. For example, bra equals to brazier, cab to taxi cab, nuke to nuclear, flu to influenza, plane, airplane, and so on. Acronyms and initials. Acronyms and initials are both techniques in abbreviation, which are always misconstrued to be the same. New words created out of initial letters or sound of words or names called acronyms, while in the other hand, the group of initial letters is used for a name or expression and pronounced separately. It's classified as type of abbreviation called initialism. Here are some examples of acronyms. AWOL or absence without leave. CAPELCO or CAPIS, Electric Cooperative. CAPSU, CAPIS, State University. COA, Commission on Audit. And here we're going to initials. VIP or very important person. MC, Master of Ceremony. CAT. College admission test, UK, United Kingdom. Blending, another word formation process where portions of words are combined or fused together, thus creating a new word. For example, the word internet. Inter plus network is equals to internet. Cellular and phone is equals to cell phone, emoticon, emotion and icon. And helicopter and airport, heliport. Motorist and hotel, motel. Flame and glare is equals to glare. There are three ways of blending words. The first is the beginning of the word is added to the end of the word. For example, brunch, breakfast, and lunch. You're gonna add the BR in the word breakfast and add it to the word lunch. You will come up with the word brunch. Second is but the beginning of the words are added. For example, cyborg. You're gonna add the CY in the word cybernetic and ORG in the word organism, we will come up with the word cyborg. The third and the last is combining two words entirely without clipping or adding its part. For example, the new word thumbprint. You're gonna add thumb and print is equals to thumbprint. Prefix. Prefix is a group of letters that is added at the beginning of a word called root to create a new word with a different meaning. For example, reunion, incorporate, insignificant, and friend, preliminary, television. A hyphen separates the word when prefixes is joined to a proper noun or a number. For example, neo and then a hyphen, Freudian, pre and then a hyphen, 1900s. The new word, if spelled without a hyphen, could be confused with another word. For example, the word recreation with a hyphen, the creation of something for a second time, and then recreation without a hyphen or an enjoyable activity. Another example is the word resign. resign with a hyphen to sign again, and then resign without a hyphen meaning to submit or relinquish. The same vowel appears at the end of a prefix in the beginning of the word. For example, anti-intellectual. The same vowel at the end and the beginning. There you go, I in the last part of anti, and then first part or first letter in the word intellectual is letter I. Same goes with the co-ownership. Suffixes. Suffix is a group of letters added to the end of a word called a root to create a new word with a different meaning, or more often to indicate a change in the root word's function. For example, adding the ed to the present stem of a regular verb puts the verb in the past tense. For example, talk, and then you're gonna add ed at the end of the word is equals to talk, and it's the past tense of talk. A group of letters added to the end of the word to make a new word, the meaning of which is usually different from the original word. For example, eat refers to the verb or action of taking in food, and then the eater refers to a noun or a person who eats. A suffix is a letter or group of letters added to the end of a word to form a new word, the meaning of which is usually different from the original word. Second, suffix modify root word to which they are added. And then the third, suffix are used to form a plural noun. For example, s, es, ies, and er. Suffixes are used to change the tense of a verb. For example, the s, the es, the ed, the t, and the ing. The suffix also are used to form an adverb from adjectives. For example, the word or the suffix ly. The suffix er, full, and less are some of the commonly used suffixes. For root words ending in e, only r is added. For root word ending in y is dropped and replaced with ier. So here are general rules that govern the most common spelling changes required by adding a suffix. Doubling a consonant. When a root word ends in a consonant, double the consonant before a suffix if the root has only one syllable or is ascended on its final syllable. Number 2, the root ends with a single consonant preceded by a single word. Number 3, suffix begins with a vowel. For example, red plus est is the reddest. Begin plus ing, beginning. Okay, so do not double if the consonant ends in w or x or y. For example, toe plus ed is equals to toad. Lax plus est, laxes. Play plus er is equals to player. The root ends with a single consonant preceded by two vowels. Bloat plus ing, bloating. The root has two or more syllables and it is not ascended on the final one. For example, the word suffer plus ed is equals to suffered. Another rule is dropping a silent e. If a root ends in a silent e, delete the e before adding a suffix. If, number 1, the e is preceded by a consonant. Second, the suffix begins with a vowel. For example, the word merge plus ing is equals to merging. Another thing is that e is preceded by an o. For example, the word hoe, H-O-E rather, plus ed is equals to H-O-D, hold. Another thing is retain the silent e if, number 1, the e is preceded by a consonant. Second, the suffix begin with a consonant. For example, the word like, you're gonna add plus, and es is equals to likeness. The e is preceded by soft, c pronounced like s, or soft g pronounced like gel. The suffix begins with an a, o, or u. Notice plus able is equals to noticeable. Courage plus ous is equals to courageous. Another rule, changing final ie to ay. If a root ends in ie, change the ie to ay before adding ing. For example, the word die, you're gonna change it to y plus ing is equals to dying. Next rule, changing a final y to an I. If a root ends a consonant followed by a y, change the y to an I before adding the suffix, unless the suffix begins with an I. For example, the word busy plus ness is equals to busyness. See, you remove the y and you put the I instead of y. Another is but, carry plus ing is carrying. If above precedes the y, however, retain the y. For example, the obey plus ing, obeying, just like the word carry. Next rule, adding a k after a final c. If a root ends with a hard c pronounced like k, insert a k before adding a suffix that begins with I, an e, or a y. For example, the word panic, you're gonna add ed is equals to panic. No k is needed if first suffix begins with an a, an o, an au, or a consonant. For example, the word frolic plus some equals frolicsome. The c at the end of the root word becomes soft, pronounced like an s after suffix is added. For example, the word critic, you gonna add ism to make it criticism, right? So another rule of word formation is a hyphens before the suffix. When suffix is added to a root, the result is usually spelled as one word. For example, twofold, handbook. The suffix elect and add are exception. They should be always connected to a root word with a hyphen. For example, governor-elect, 20 add. If a root is a proper noun, a hyphen should usually be inserted before adding a suffix. For example, American-like, Miami-wide. So thank you guys for listening to my report. I hope you do understand my report and you have something that retain in your mind about these rules, because these rules could help you in the future. Thank you.